Hey, Jaxon here. I don't really like Disney right now. They do almost nothing original these days. It's just sequels and spin-offs to their old movies, remakes of those old movies, or spin-offs to those remakes. They need to stop. I take back my previous comments. Pixar Brick Toons is the latest Pixar series to come to Disney+. It's an anthology show, with each episode being based on a different Pixar movie, but with a twist. That being, it's now in the form of my favorite snack. I'll be honest with you, the only real reason I was even interested in this series was because one of the episodes was based on Cars. And you all know about my obsession with the funny Owen Wilson car. I was also interested in the Incredibles episode, both because of the recent announcement of Incredibles 3 being in the works, but also because if you've seen the trailer, you'll know that somehow, Syndrome returned. So, let's look at every episode of Pixar Brick Toons one by one, and rank them in this little tier list I have set up. Ready? Alright, let's go. Cars is the first episode in this series. It begins with Lightning McQueen training for the last Piston Cup race of the season, and everything is going well until Mater accidentally causes Lightning to wreck. Lightning considers quitting, thinking he won't be prepared in time for the race, or able to compete with hotshot race car H.G. Hollis, but Mater is able to get some spare parts, and fixes Lightning up into something that I would have made in a character creator when I was 5. We also meet Hollis here. He is nothing special, he's just an arrogant asshole who plays dirty to win. Judging by the way he acts, it feels like the writers wanted to have Jaxon Storm here, but since his voice actor got into some controversy, they just wrote a new character that acts exactly like him. Lightning is comically slow in his new build, but due to some luck, is barely able to win the Piston Cup. Lightning gives a speech about not quitting, even when you think you'll fail, and thanks Mater for helping him before the episode ends. I really enjoyed this. There were some questions I have, mainly about how Lightning is still racing when it was pretty obvious that he became Cruz's crew chief at the end of Cars 3. In fact, she isn't even mentioned here. But as we watch this series more and more, I think you'll come to find that these shorts are most likely not canon to the movies they're based on. I also really like that Mater became Lightning's crew chief following Doc's death. Something about that I just think is super wholesome. And I also thought it was creative for Mater to build Lightning back up into that weird monster truck build. I feel like it took advantage of the fact that these are Lego versions of these characters, and is something I don't think would have worked nearly as well if it had been done in normal 3D animation. My position on Cars 4 is the exact same as it was before I made this video. I never want it to be made, but that won't stop me from admitting that this was a fun little adventure with the Cars characters, and if you love the movies as much as I do, I think you will as well. Cars goes immediately into the S tier. Nice to see we're starting the series strong. Brave is next, and it's solid, although I didn't enjoy it nearly as much as the Cars episode, probably because it's been like 10 years since I've watched Brave and barely remember anything about it. This short has Merida trying to cure one of her brothers after they get transformed into stone, but some wacky shenanigans cause a few dents in that plan. It wasn't anything too terrible, it was fine, but I only think you'll get the most out of it if you're a fan of Brave, and if anyone watching is, I respect that. Like and subscribe. I also respect Pixar for making this short in general. It shows that they're not just picking their popular movies to make shorts out of for this series. Another cute detail I found is that instead of being normal Lego minifigures, all of the Brave characters are in the form of those Lego minifigures made for girls. I found that to be a nice attention to detail. Brave is going in the C tier. I'd probably give it more if I was a fan of the movie, but I'm not. The Pars are having a pizza night, and Violet and Dash are left in charge of Jack Jack while Bob cooks. They immediately lose sight of him, but don't worry, he just starts messing with Bob by transforming into pizza dough. It's not very funny, and I wasn't really interested in it. What I was interested in was the A-plot. While searching for Jack Jack, they come across Syndrome, and I bet what you're wondering now, how did they bring him back? Well, here's the answer. I don't know. Yep, there's no explanation given as to why Syndrome is alive. Now, there was a LEGO Incredibles video game that was released about 6 years before this show, and in the ending to that, Syndrome does live, so I guess this short is canon to that timeline, or just not canon at all, which would make all these other shorts non-canon as well. Here I am, 15 years old and complaining about the canon of Pixar movies on the internet. What has become of my life? Syndrome's latest scheme has him take out the city's power with a new device he has and charge money for it to be given back. But with a little help from Elastigirl, the kids are able to put a stop to his plan and order pizza to celebrate, since Bob destroyed the kitchen trying to make it. Once again, I enjoyed this short, but I think it's a little weaker than the Cars one, since I found the Bob and Jack stuff uninteresting, and I'm still confused on what the hell Syndrome is doing here, and as a result, it's going into the S tier, but right below Cars. Finding Nemo probably has the weakest episode out of the entire series. Marlin and Dory have been replaced by new voice actors here, and while they try their best, and I get why it had to be done, at least in the case of Ellen DeGeneres, I don't think Albert Brooks has done anything scummy as far as I'm aware. They still sound off. Not only that, but Marlin just acts out of character in this short as well. He's constantly babying Nemo and being overprotective of him, and it just feels wrong. The first film was about Marlin learning how to be less protective of him, and it just feels like he was reverted back to square one here. The ending is also kind of cringy. The gang visits an old abandoned ship and accidentally destroy it. In the wreckage, Nemo finds a treasure chest with a pirate hat and instructions on how to repair the ship. The other kids are hesitant, saying they're too little to do this. But Nemo says that if little people join forces, they can do big things. Yay! This is then followed by a montage of the cast taking Lego pieces and putting the ship back together. I know I praised the Cars short for taking advantage of the fact that it was Lego, but here it just feels like an ad. This is going in the D tier. Coco is the fifth and final episode in the series. It has Miguel return to the land of the dead on, I am going to butcher this, El Dia de los Muertos to compete with his family in a Battle of the Bands competition. Miguel is super excited at first, only to doubt himself when seeing the competition he's against. However, he's reassured by his family that everything will be fine, and gets onto the stage, where he performs this song from the end of the movie. It's not even a cover or anything, they just dragged and dropped the audio files. I will admit, it is kind of funny though, since everyone loses their minds over Miguel's music like it's the second coming of Christ. As you'd expect, they win the competition and the short ends. It's overall a pretty solid ending to the series, although it was kind of lazy of them to just reuse a song from the movie with no changes, which is why it goes in A tier. And there we go, all episodes of Pixar Brick Toons ranked. What do you know, Cars is on top for some totally unbiased reasons. Dropping the sarcasm, I don't think my ranking is the definitive way to measure the quality of these shorts, both because it's my opinion, not a fact, but also because I feel like your enjoyment of these shorts is 100% determined on how much you enjoy the movies they're based on. You could absolutely hate Cars and put it in the F tier, but really like Brave and put it in S. I won't judge. Overall, I enjoyed Pixar Brick Toons, even if I was a little critical of it in this video. It was nice to see some new adventures with these old characters. Now, does that mean I want that to be the only thing Disney makes from now on? No!